Hey, it's Red. Are you ready to hear some r/I do work here lady stories? Read by me? Yeah? Okay, let's get going! Yelled at by a customer at work. This happened to me in March of this year, just as the lockdown started, and many stores had started having special shopping hours for elderly and high-risk customers. I worked at a grocery store on the overnight stock crew, and my shift ended at the same time the special hours started. I would frequently pick up items I needed at the end of my shift before heading home. On this particular morning, we had finally gotten a shipment of toilet paper and cleaning wipes in. I picked up a 12-pack of the cheapest toilet paper in the store and a canister of Clorox wipes for my mum, who is high risk. I was not wearing my black work polo because I was 7 months pregnant and it didn't fit, so I was allowed to wear a plain black t-shirt instead. I picked up a few food items and headed for the register. I ended up in line behind an older woman. She said very pointedly to the cashier, who was a friend of mine, that we needed to be more strict on the elderly and high-risk guidelines. She looked straight at me as she said it. She said we needed to have a guard at the doors to make sure no one was coming in during the special hours except those that actually needed to shop at those times. At our store, it was from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. every day. She also said if the store lets other people in to shop, they should make sure that they don't buy the essentials that other people need, looking at the toilet paper and Clorox wipes in my hands. Now, my co-worker is an elderly woman, and she is not shy. She's a spitfire, and she'll tell you what she thinks and doesn't give two craps about what you think. She looks straight at the woman and says, "There's a limit on essential items. You can't buy 2 packs of toilet paper." The customer had 2 of the biggest packs of toilet paper we sold. We're talking 18 rolls. This woman snapped at her with a, "Fine, whatever, but I'm not coming here if you're going to keep letting other people in during the special hours. I want to speak to a manager." Bet you didn't see that coming. My co-worker calls the manager on duty, which happens to be my manager on the overnight crew. He comes up and this woman goes off yelling about how we're letting regular people shop during the special hours and how the cashier was rude and was limiting her, etc. Full Karen. My manager looks at me and can see that I'm irritated. He looks at the customer straight up and said, "I would like for you to leave." She got angry and asked why she should be the one to leave when she was clearly following the rules of the shopping hours and I was not. He said, and I'll never forget this for the rest of my life, "This customer you are harassing is my best employee. She just finished working a 9-hour shift to fill those shelves so you can come in and buy your essentials. She is picking up a few items after her shift, and on top of that, you're harassing a pregnant woman who is considered high risk and she has as much of a right to shop during these hours as you do. She's exhausted and she's scared because of the pandemic, but she comes in every night, works extra hours and busts her butt so people like you can come in and talk down to her. You can leave now and you're welcome to stay out." And he walked away. She tries to stammer an apology at me and ask about my baby, when I was due, what I was having, etc. when the loss prevention guy showed up to escort her out. I ignored her and picked up one of her packs of toilet paper instead of the 12-pack I had grabbed. I checked out my items and was on my way while LP took her picture and made notes that she was banned from the store for 30 days for harassing an employee. I just don't get people like this. Like, what? You don't know someone else's situation. It's a case of don't assume you know everyone's story. And yeah, especially 7 months pregnant. You can most of the time see something's going on by then. Okay, here's our next story. Security at the store I worked didn't realize I worked there. So, years back I was working at a liquor store. A friend of mine came in, so I stood by the half bottles talking to him. The store's rent-a-cop security guard comes over and asks for ID. My friend goes to pull out his wallet. Security guard goes, "No, not you, her." So I look around and then realize he's talking to me. "Dude, I work here, see the name tag?" He just sheepishly walked away and my friend and I were dumbfounded and laughed it off. Keep in mind, I had been working for 4 hours that day in a small store with that security guard there the whole time. That's a good security guard there. Well done. He's obviously excellent at his job. Okay, here's the next one. Boss doesn't recognize his own employee when she walks into work in a dress. This is my mother-in-law's story, not mine. My mother-in-law is a short, fat, busty woman in her 50s and works in security. Yes, she looks like a sweet older lady, but she is tough and thorough and will threaten to place you under arrest. Her lead supervisor is old and senile and gets in his own way. Despite a high turnover rate due to not the best management skills, as trying to become an armed guard is as easy as pulling teeth, my mother-in-law has endured it, as this has been her first job in 26 years after raising her son as a stay-at-home wife in extreme poverty. People have rage quit due to how Brian tends to upset and confuse and change schedules without notice, literally telling his security officers to call him corporal in front of police officers and watch Red Dawn as training. Also, you can get written up if you alert him your coworker left their gun in plain sight in their locked car as a courtesy. You can't make this up. Despite this, she endures it, as it's far better than the alternative. Anyway, as this was told to me, it's not word for word, but a rough summary as to what happened. My mother-in-law Jane was wearing a yellow and red flower dress running errands and had to stop by security home office to do something. Not sure what, but she figured she was out and thought it was best to get whatever she needed to do out of the way. She goes and finds Bob, one of the primary supervisors that manage most operations. He greets Jane and likes my mother-in-law because of the work he's seen out on sites. They move further into the office and Brian comes up, sees Bob, then sees Jane. Brian tells Jane, Ma'am, you can't be in here. This office is closed." Bob speaks up and tells Brian, "No, it's alright, she's with me." Brian's eyebrows wiggle and says, "Oh, so she's with you, huh?" Like, what the F? Everyone was confused. My mother-in-law and Bob then laughed. It was clear a while ago Brian has never been all too observant, despite working in security. Despite talking face to face with her numerous times in her year with the company, Brian didn't recognize his own employee outside her uniform. Evidently, by this encounter, Jane was in a clear disguise and took on the identity of a strange woman walking into a security office like a wandering idiot who happened to be holding a casual conversation with his co-supervisor. Bob goes, "Brian, this is Jane." It finally clicked. Oh, hey! Anyway, it's a bit anticlimactic, but everyone thought it was funny, including, I think, Brian. It just worries me a bit more, as it makes me wonder what else goes over this guy's head. Oh look, another security guard who's so good at his job. I hope you all enjoyed those r/I do work here lady stories, read by Red. That's me. I do work here. I'm Red. Yeah. Please give the video a like. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already and click the bell to make sure you get notifications every day when I make a video. Thanks so much, guys. Good luck on the rest of your day.